Everyone's an influencer. Before you roll your eyes or think about a famous content creator or celebrity trying to sell you something, sometimes you could have fun like, I'm Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis, Edodinina Sidani, Nelisanakai, Vui, Namanaluk, Ashintim, Lisanagaib. Sometimes I like to be Paul Atreides. I just change it up, but then I go back to Michael. So I would like to challenge the concept of influence and why we influence, and this is like a discussion that I'm having with you. I'm thinking out loud. But the question is, what kind of influence are you putting out there? What is the energy behind the influence? Because anything could be used for good or bad. And there's no such thing as good or bad. There's frequencies. A lower vibrational frequency used to control and manipulate people. A higher vibrational frequency used to bring people together. And you've probably had experiences in your life where you've experienced both. It's a human experience. But I personally believe that when you are in alignment, when you know who you are, and no one's perfect, but when you're walking towards the path of imperfection and you're following your internal compass, I believe you're supported by a higher power, whatever that means to you. God, the universe, spirit guides, angels, leading you on this path to influence, to provide the message, to inspire a lot of people. And you're not even trying to inspire a lot of people, you're just trying to be yourself. But during that process, it will trigger many people. People might not agree with you, but in a sense, you are a trigger to them. You are a light point. You kind of stir something up as long as you have good intentions. I think we can influence our family by speaking our truth. I think we can influence our jobs by standing up for what's right and letting our manager know how we feel, or what improvements could be made, or that you can't take on this project, or letting your partner know how you feel, being vulnerable with them. Also your community, trying to do good for your community. All of that is influence in a way. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm on a screen right now on a social media platform, I'm influencing, or I'm on TV. You are influencing, you are creating an impact, as small as it is or as big as it is. So that's special, keep doing that. So I think it comes down to authenticity. Are you being authentic to yourself? You have to ask yourself that. Are you putting out an authentic message? Every time I film a video, yeah, is it authentic? Sure, but sometimes, like, if I were to cry on camera, I would have to like get myself a little bit ready before I cry on camera. If you can just turn on the camera and start crying and get into that frame of mind, I commend you, but it's hard. You're kind of on stage in a way. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm curious about is, why do we look up to influencers so much, or celebrities? Respect them, learn from them, great, but they're just like us. They're human beings. So I think it comes down to self-love and understanding thyself and knowing thyself and promoting thyself. It's wonderful when you're in a community and a group and you all share a similar frame of mind and you're in an expansive high vibrational state, right? Anything can be used for good or bad. Things like sports, politics, there's always sides and there's always emotions involved, and like the energy could be, my side is better than yours, or my group is better than yours, or my country is better than yours, or it could be, you know what, I love my country, it's a beautiful country, I'm also open to the richness of other countries, or my political party is great, but I'm interested in hearing what you have to say and learning from you as well. You see how it's not so extreme, it's not so this is the only way. It's being expansive, it's learning, it's growing, it's having that growth mindset. You're open to other people's interpretation. And what I find a lot of times in society is that instead of focusing on, and I do this too, instead of focusing on what we love, we focus on what we don't love. Let's take an example. Some people, I'm calling you out, they go to restaurants and they leave negative reviews. You can do whatever you want. But how I see it is, why would I like to spend that energy writing something negative about the restaurant? How I would do it is just not write a review and just call it a day, not go back, not tell anyone about it. I would rather focus my energy in promoting the restaurants that I love. Because you got to keep in mind, like, everything has a ripple effect. So even though you didn't have an experience at that restaurant, you don't know the story behind that restaurant, you don't know how hard they're working, you could in a way hurt them. And of course there's a time and place to like call out when you've been wrong, but that example, you can handle that in the moment. Like, oh, my chicken was raw, can you please cook it back, instead of going home and writing reviews. See what I'm saying? So stuff like that. Focus on the positive, focus on what we love, stay in that higher vibrational energy. Another thing too, what I notice about restaurants and this influencer community where people go to restaurants is that some of these influencers might not actually like the restaurants that they're going to, but they're going there because it's hot and other people went there. It's how you use the energy. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's inauthentic. So that's why I started Manager Meal Media, my company, to give restaurants control of their own narrative and showcase their own story. and encourage more organic influencers, but I want them to control their own narrative because they should. They should speak their truth too. Shout out to my company. And it's not like I know what I'm doing all the time. Like, I go through periods where I have doubt and insecurity and I don't know what I'm doing, but like pushing through and like listening to my internal compass, that's important. There's no perfection. If I followed the normal route, then I wouldn't trigger as many people, but in being myself, I'm in that growth mindset. I'm constantly growing. I'm shedding the skin like a snake. You're the snake. And I'm expanding into that. That triggers a lot of people, like I said, you know, and people will probably not like me. But the thing is, like, people didn't like me before I started speaking my truth either and trying to be myself. And people don't like me now. So at least I'm speaking my truth, and people can't expose me because I've already exposed myself. And through that, also in being myself, I've connected with more people through these social channels, through the platform, and I've built real relationships, and I'm really grateful for that. That's really special. The point is, like, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but we have a choice to alchemize that negative energy, those negative experiences, those negative interactions, and turn that into positivity. It's enlightened. There's definitely dark periods, but you go through that, you don't stay there, and you transmute that into positivity. The same thing with our influence. Do you want to be like everybody else, or do you want to grow and expand and be your true self? If you be like everybody else, is that the most fulfilling? So next time you follow someone like myself, like their product or a celebrity, ask yourself, why do you like them? Is this truly for you? Does it resonate with you? Or is it just the group mindset kicking in, like you don't want to be alone? I'm not saying that you can't have your own opinions and you can't like certain people and celebrities. You most certainly can. I like celebrities too. It's fun, music, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I think it's most important finding and knowing who we are and always assessing ourselves and being ourselves rather than trying to be like everybody else. And if everyone was their own individual self, that would inspire a lot of people to also call back their power and be themselves rather than try to be like other people, living in not the fullest alignment. So it's not the question of if you're influencing, everyone's influencing. It's how. What energy are you putting into the world? And everything that you do matters. So go out there, be yourself. Peace.